Allow me to introduce myself.
I am the last sane sports fan.
I am a genius by trade.
I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly.
Hello everyone, and welcome once again to The View from the Midwest. Well, let's get right into it today, as it's going to be kind of a passionate video, I can assure you. But hopefully we can only hope and pray that this will be the last time that we will have to discuss this utterly ridiculous and stupid and tiring discussion. But the news that came down today is that Tom Brady's suspension has been wiped out by a court ruling. The judge felt that the NFL had overstepped its bounds, did not feel that there was enough evidence that was concrete enough to necessarily uphold the suspension, so therefore he had no choice but to throw it out. And due to the fact that the NFL and Tom Brady's camp refused to come to any settlement, ultimately it was in the court's hands. So this is what happens when it goes to a court. They have no rights to decide the case other than based on what is presented to them. So they have to look at the cold, hard evidence. And all along, regardless of what side you've come down on, the overriding factor that most people would probably agree on is the fact that there wasn't a lot of hardcore evidence. Because in a case like this, what is going to be your hardcore evidence? Other than the text messages, there really was no smoking gun. There was no voicemail. There was no handwritten note signed by Tom Brady saying, hey, this is basically the way that I want my footballs. So, yeah, you had to go on a lot of hearsay. You had to go on a lot of circumstantial evidence. And as far as the league was concerned, that was more than enough. And as far as a lot of fans were concerned, that was more than enough. But you have the Tom Brady supporters out there who say, well, this is all just a conspiracy to try to get at the Patriots. And maybe that's correct. I'm not going to go as far as that. But ultimately, Tom Brady was guilty of something. And this upsets me in as far as the Tom Brady supporters are going to come out and say, oh yeah, look, see, now is he the greatest of all time again? It's like, based on talent alone, you could make that argument. But to me, it's still going to hold him back in a lot of people's eyes, because we've said this from the beginning. I've said this from the beginning, that all of this did nothing to tarnish his legacy as a player, but it made him look worse as a man. And that doesn't change now. It didn't change then, because, quite frankly, regardless of whether he was suspended or fined or done nothing to, there were people out there, myself included, who felt that he was guilty of something and felt that this tarnished his legacy in terms of being the off-the-field person that some people think that he is. For the people who support him, it changes nothing. It didn't matter whether the suspension was upheld. They still would have believed Tom Brady was one of the best of all time. If it had not been upheld, which obviously it is not, they sit there and point to, oh, well, see, now he's technically done nothing wrong. It's all technicalities, going to support or not support whatever you already believe in. Nothing has really changed other than the fact that Tom Brady is now going to get to start week 1 for the New England Patriots, and you have to wonder maybe if they knew something that this was going to happen, because they refused to really kind of hand the reins over to Jimmy Garoppolo, which I believe if they had some sort of inkling that Tom Brady was not going to play week 1, they would have put more effort into getting him more reps. He did start to see a few more first-team reps here late in the preseason, but still not enough to know that the New England Patriots had any kind of thought that anybody but Tom Brady would be their quarterback. Now, here's why I'm a little bit upset about all this. Because somebody on Twitter, somebody that I don't necessarily know personally, but somebody that I follow, their handle is, I believe, at Kugelblitz. We're both Liverpool supporters, so that's where that came from. But he put it very succinctly, very well thought out, I thought. Basically, he said the problem with today's decision is that Tom Brady's camp is going to come out and say, see, I did nothing wrong. I am innocent of all charges. When the fact of the matter is that this is simply a case of the NFL did not handle its proper procedures and kind of overstepped its bounds based on the amount of evidence they had. It does not mean in any shape or way or form that Tom Brady did not have anything to do with those deflated footballs. And listen, I hate Tom Brady. I don't like the New England Patriots. But those are. I don't hate him as a person. I just don't like him as an athlete because those are the way that I choose to root for, as any fan will do. My problem with all of this is Tom Brady has come off so smugly that he is incapable of doing anything wrong. He wants to keep this lily white clean image out there when it is not true, because there is no way I will still maintain that, as foolish as all of this is, that deflating the footballs was a stupid thing to begin with. It had nothing to do with the way that the game turned out, but it was still kind of a manner of cheating. It still goes to the way that the New England Patriots think. Tom Brady had to have known that there were recordings made. Why didn't he take his lily white image out then and say, no, I'm not going to look at that because I don't want to have an unfair advantage. I want to go out there and beat my opponent cleanly. No, he doesn't care about beating his opponent cleanly as long as he wins, as long as he gets that Super Bowl ring, as long as he gets that bonus check. The man is I'm trying to not make this a complete personal attack because I don't know Tom Brady from my next door neighbor. The bottom line, though, is that there is no way in hell that anybody on the Patriots staff just got a notion in their head, as somebody as lowly as an equipment manager, and equipment managers are important people in the grand scheme of things, but they're not high up on the totem pole as far as the public is viewing. There's no way that somebody that low on the totem pole just got a hair up their butt and decided, hey, I'm going to deflate the footballs a little bit. They'll be easier for the guys to catch, and Tom won't have as hard a time grabbing onto him, especially if we get any kind of slick weather out there or anything. There is no way anybody just randomly decided that. Tom Brady could have made this all go away from the very beginning. All he had to do is say, I didn't really have anything to do with this, them being completely underinflated. I do like them a little bit softer. I told the equipment manager I like them a little bit softer, but within the rules, and then perhaps just a little too much air was taken out of it. There, case closed. It's all done. You're still the golden boy of the NFL. We didn't have to go through all this process. But instead, you want to destroy your phone and act like, oh, I just do that all the time, even though you've got cell phones out there that are years old that are still floating around that you didn't destroy because they didn't hold text message information regarding what happened with these footballs. They didn't show you messaging the people that would have been responsible for it. The bottom line is, as they said, Tom Brady is not innocent of these charges, but he was simply a person that got over through the system because the way that the court system, and we've seen this in cases that are far much more important, that include far greater crimes, but for the legal system built the way that we have it in the United States, there was not enough hardcore evidence to say that the punishment was justified. So therefore, he gets off. That does not mean he is innocent of the crimes, as I am sure that he will try to purport. That is the view from the Midwest. Hopefully we can be done with this topic. Tom Brady can now start all the games in the New England Patriots uniform, and let's be done with it. Let's get out there on the field and play some football. Quite frankly, as passionate as I get about this, I am tired of talking about it as well. Hopefully you guys are have an opinion on it, though. Let me know what you think about today's decision. Do you think it was right that Tom Brady is going to be back out on the field? Do you think that he should have served at least some sort of suspension, 1 or 2 games? Let me know in the comments section. Comment, rate, and subscribe on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you happen to be watching this, and we'll keep on going. But until the next time, I'll see you then.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space.